Yeah.
Okay, some of you might be wondering why exactly I have this nasty old boot in front of you, but today I plan to try to show you how this seemingly simple boot is actually representative of an entire culture to me. So first I'll explain what this culture is, and then I'll explain kind of what I learned through going through this process. The culture through this boot is the Army National Guard. I'm actually part of the California National Guard, which works a lot on natural disasters in California, but also does like the typical Army stuff that you think of. But I get a lot of times I get, why did I join? And why did I join at such a simple age, or at such an early age? I joined when I was 17 years old, so I was still in high school, not even 18 yet, which is pretty crazy to some people. And the answer I give a lot is it's complicated. I did it for a lot of reasons, but what I learned from it was a lot, actually. I learned a lot about this culture, and I learned different things than what I thought I would learn when I was going into it. So 2 months after high school graduation, I got shipped off to Fort Leonard Wood in the lovely Missouri, which is very hot and then very cold. Anyway, what I learned there was the typical stuff. I learned how to run, jump, fight, all that stuff, shoot, all that stuff that you think of when you think of the Army. But what I learned most, I think, is actually this culture that's represented by this boot. It's a culture of teamwork and a culture of reliance upon the person right beside you. So if you don't trust the person 100% to your left and right, bad things can happen. So I want to show you guys, or to tell you guys a little bit about this live fire exercise we do at the end of basic. It's this crazy event where you low crawl 300 meters through sand, and there's like live machine gun fire like above your head, there's flares popping off, and then there's like fake tanks and like stuff all moving around. But this entire live fire exercise is kind of symbolic of this culture. It kind of relies on teamwork. So you go as a unit, you crawl, and then get through this obstacle course with your team. And if you don't rely on each other and you don't work together as a team, then you can't complete it, and you'll actually fail basic training, which is pretty intense because you work so hard and you want to get pretty far. But if you fail this, you actually fail basic entirely, and it's entirely on teamwork. So what I learned from basic was not only about fighting and running and jumping, but it was also about reliance and this entire military culture that I found myself entrenched in. After basic training, you go to your unit, which is a lot smaller, and it's even, the military culture kind of transfers from this big entire network into a group of 30 people, which it makes the culture shine even more because you're completely reliant on 30 people. Recently, my unit got called out for the car fires, like a bunch of fires up north, which have been like ravaging the entire northern California. But we were sent up there to do checkpoints and to help out people with their homes, rebuilding their houses and giving aid wherever we needed to. And we found that if we didn't work together completely doing all the tasks that we were assigned, we weren't able to do it. And so I feel like, yes, I did learn all the typical warfighting stuff that you would think of in the Army. I also learned teamwork and about this culture that is represented by this seemingly dusty old boot. Thanks for listening.
Okay.